Welcome to another segment of Blueprints Unsealed. Join me today as we take a look at how top earners of Wall Street truly think differently. Today's elite has achieved unprecedented amounts of wealth. Each decade produces a new generation of innovation and ideas. Rarely does the occupants that tops Forbes' 10 most wealthiest of people remain the same from decade to decade. During the 80s, the top earning companies included the juggernauts that controlled the oil supply, while in 2018, we saw Amazon reach a $1 trillion market value during intraday, but was not able to hold on to these gains after the market closed. In the following year, Apple became the first company to reach and hold a $1 trillion market value that doubled in year 2020. However, the most consistent individual that tops Forbes' 10 most wealthiest list for the last 4 decades is Warren Buffett, followed by Bill Gates and Larry Ellison, while today the number 1 and 2 spots go to Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Let's take a closer look to see how these individuals think differently. Warren Buffett is one of the best known investors to the world in finance. He is the chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, a holding company that wholly owns some of the most recognizable brands, including Geico, Duracell, Dairy Queen, Helzberg Diamonds, and NetJets. Warren Buffett once stated, "Invest in yourself. The one easy way to become worth 50% more than you are now, at least, is to hone your communication skills, both written and verbal. If you can't communicate, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens. You can have all the brain power in the world, but you have to be able to transmit it, and the transmission is communication." Warren Buffett is considered a maverick, which is defined as an unorthodox or independent-minded person. In other words, a person who goes against the grain. For example, in corporate America, it's expected that we say yes to every opportunity that comes our way. However, Warren Buffett believes that saying no is actually the best approach. You see, he believes that the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. The takeaway here is that it's important to focus on tasks at hand and not get too bogged down in various projects. Otherwise, it's easier to end up doing nothing well at all. Warren Buffett also believed that bad habits will ultimately lead to failure, and that one of the best things we can do to get better in life is to drop bad habits. He said the following about habits: "Chains of habits are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken." Lastly, Warren Buffett believes that it is not necessary to do extraordinary things to get extraordinary results. The takeaway is that being consistent and diligent in your task at hand will bring you success, better than any big idea that's not followed up with action. Next up is Bill Gates, best known as the founder of Microsoft, which is a portmanteau for microcomputer and software. Bill Gates believes that it's all in the execution. You must know when and how to take action, and how to properly execute. He sees that the problem is not a shortage of ideas, but in the lack of executing the ideas you already have. The secret sauce is the ruthless prioritization of the ideas that makes the most impact. Bill Gates' life experiences taught him the lesson that you don't have to be the first to win, meaning success is not a race, and you should not rush to get something done for the sake of being first. Instead, take your time, make meaningful improvements, and keep learning. And when your product or work is complete, you will have reached true success. Bill Gates says Microsoft has had its success by doing low-cost products and constantly improving those products. And we've really redefined the IT industry to be something that's about a tool for individuals. Bill appreciates the value in feedback and feels that the toughest feedback to hear is the feedback you need the most. Also, getting the feedback isn't enough. You must carefully listen to the critiques and try hard to improve upon them. Bill Gates had this to say: "Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning." Bill also stated, "You've got to want to be in this incredible feedback loop where you get the world-class people to tell you what you're doing wrong." Lastly, Bill is a firm believer that failures are most important than success, mainly because failures provide an opportunity to learn something important that success rarely teaches. Therefore, it is important to learn from your mistakes and not repeat them. Larry Ellison is the co-founder of Oracle, which is a global corporation that develops and markets computer programs applications for businesses. Larry finds the importance in being an original and not conforming to conventions. He sees value in thinking things out for yourself. Not that you always need to reinvent the wheel, but there are those things which following the crowd would not make you great. In Larry's personal life, he struggled with school and his grades suffered. He ended up dropping out of school because although he believed in learning, he disagreed with institutional style learning through school. Larry knows that making tough decisions is part of life, especially if you want to grow. In 1990, when Oracle was making $1 billion in revenue, Larry had to make a very tough decision by firing his entire management team. These were the people who were with the company from the beginning and for decades. His rationale was that someone who has skills to run a $15 million company does not necessarily have the skills to run a $1 billion company. Lastly, Larry believes that fear is a great motivator and perhaps the reason for his success. Larry made the following statement as it relates to failures. Great achievers are driven, not so much by the pursuit of success, but by the fear of failure. Finally, we will look at the fresh newcomers on the Forbes Top 10 list, which includes both Jeff Bezos of Amazon, that focuses on online retail, and Elon Musk with Tesla, which is known for high-end luxury cars that runs on electric power. In addition, they both have ventures in aerospace manufacturing, with a focus on future space travel for humans. Jeff Bezos owns Blue Origin, and Elon Musk owns SpaceX. Both companies show great promise. A key takeaway from Jeff Bezos is that you should always remain a day one company forever. He realizes that startup companies are constantly experimenting and seeking new opportunities to grow. However, as the business matures, they stop taking as many chances and become what he calls day two companies. These are the companies that no longer innovates and on the cusp of failure. The takeaway from Elon Musk is that you must be willing to outwork your competitor. He believes that no matter how much you want something, if your work ethic doesn't match the goal, you cannot achieve it. In fact, if you really want to achieve success, you must have the whatever it takes mindset to succeed, period. In conclusion, I hope you found this segment provided useful information that was practical and easy to digest. The insights provided by Wall Street top earners should not be taken lightly, and the chances of achieving your own success will become more likely if you practice their advice every opportunity you get. Remember, as Warren Buffett says, consistency and diligence is key to your success.